Psychology behind emotions, basic emotional feelings, human emotions, various psychological and physiological factors. Happiness is a positive emotional state characterized by feelings of joy, contentment, and satisfaction. Psychologically, happiness is associated with the release of neurotransmitters, such as dopamine and serotonin in the brain, which contribute to feelings of pleasure and well-being. It's also influenced by factors such as personal accomplishments, social connections, and life circumstances. Sadness is a negative emotional state marked by feelings of unhappiness, sorrow, or grief. Psychologically, sadness can be triggered by events such as loss, disappointment, or failure. It's associated with changes in brain chemistry, including decreased levels of neurotransmitters like serotonin, as well as cognitive processes such as rumination and introspection. Fear is an emotional response to perceived threats or danger. Psychologically, fear triggers the body's fight or flight response, activating the sympathetic nervous system and releasing stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol. Fear can be adaptive, helping individuals to avoid potentially harmful situations, but it can also become maladaptive when it leads to excessive anxiety or avoidance behavior. Emotions serve as valuable signals that inform our thoughts, behaviors, and relationships, shaping our experiences and influencing our interactions with the world around us. Anger. Anger is an intense emotional state characterized by feelings of frustration, hostility, or irritation. Psychologically, anger often arises in response to perceived injustices, threats to one's goals or values, or feelings of powerlessness or frustration. It can be accompanied by physiological changes such as increased heart rate and blood pressure, as well as cognitive changes such as distorted thinking patterns. Surprise is a brief emotional state triggered by unexpected or novel stimuli. Psychologically, surprise interrupts ongoing cognitive processes and directs attention toward the surprising event. It can elicit physiological responses such as widened eyes and increased arousal, and it plays a role in cognitive processes such as learning and adaptation. Disgust is an aversive emotional state triggered by offensive or repulsive stimuli. Psychologically, disgust evolved as a protective mechanism to avoid potential sources of contamination or harm. It's associated with physiological responses such as nausea and facial expressions of disgust, and it can influence behavior by promoting avoidance or rejection of unpleasant stimuli. Psychology behind emotions, basic emotional feelings, human emotions, various psychological and physiological factors.